I can share. So I've been working with a College of Ed student. So Bob Blake knows about this project because he's put a lot of resources to help fund the project. So I'm working with Carly Berry. She's an elementary education student, and she's a senior this year. She's in her final student internship right now. But even though she's really busy, she has found the time to fit this in. One of her reasons is just because she loves the idea behind this activity. So I thought of something, and I didn't even meet Carly at the time. And my son, who was in kindergarten last year, he was saying, "Mommy, what is 3/4?" And I'm trying to think of real life examples for him. So I made a circle and I drew it at the dinner table, and I was trying to explain to him where 3/4 is, like a fraction. And so then I started talking to my colleague Mike Crash about it too. Like, how can we use a circle? Because my son likes to go jumping at Sky Zone. So I was trying to use like turns. And he also does figure skating. So in skating, you need to like learn jumps, so you have revolutions and turns. So then I was thinking, how can we develop this activity as an activity? And Mike Crash was like, he has a placement at Hampton Elementary School, and he would love to try to like maybe make an activity so that his students in Math 323, 324, the methods classes, could implement this and work with like maybe fourth graders and fifth graders there. And so because of that, we found a student from his Math 323 class who stood out with her passion. And I was on sabbatical that semester, so I wasn't even looking to start any projects with anybody. But it was so compelling that we decided to start working on it. So Fisher College has an endowment fund, and so they were able to fund her hourly pay for $12 an hour. And so every time she's worked, she's been able to count this, because otherwise she does a ton of babysitting and other kinds of things outside. So this, being able to financially compensate a little bit does help, because she didn't need any more academic credit. So sometimes it's encouraged to do independent study credit, but if there, she was in her junior year, so if she needed any more academic credit, it wouldn't necessarily, like, we could have given her that, but that wasn't the best way for her. So after that, we tried it out at several other different venues, other elementary schools, and we also did a summer camp that I'm affiliated with at Reisterstown Sportsplex. It was a figure skating camp, and after they have lunch, they always have some downtime, so we tried it out at this camp. And then she presented at Maryland Council of Teachers of Math conference. It's the third Friday of every October. They have this professional development day. All the county schools are closed statewide, and so she presented there. All the teachers there who attended her presentation really were super engaged. They loved how she incorporated fractions and fraction equivalents and comparisons of fractions. We do like, okay, if 3/4 that equals 6/8, and what's less than that, what's bigger than that. There's also like fraction addition in there. So if I rotate this much and then I rotate more. So there was that piece. I also extended it for high school, like the polar coordinates, when students are learning between like degrees and radians and things like that. So this whole idea of like sort of, it's jumping within a hula hoop, we decided to make it into a big circle where you can make a big jump rope. Having this kinesthetic activity and having this kinesthetic representation is extremely appealing to a lot of people, like kids who have like attention deficit disorders or things like that. They find, like, my son has ADHD, so he likes to jump and do all this stuff, so he's like always climbing on everything. And so kids who want to do that can sort of have this outlet to learn about math. So what else has she done? She came with me to joint math meetings in Denver, and she presented it as an activity for people just passing by at the MAA Pavilion. It's Mathematical Association of America. But she also did a 15-minute conference presentation in the Math and Sports Special Interest Group session. They include math education in there. And then 2 days ago, there was the Association of Maryland Math Teacher Educators conference, and she gave out her email. And she said, if you want my activities, you can email me. She already got 2 teachers email her back, like it's only 2 days after the conference. And so she's super excited because the reception has been so great for her activities. Like all the teachers who participate in the activities are just so happy that they came. Like one teacher said, I was so glad that I came to this conference. It's an hour drive away from me, and I'm glad because I was able to kind of see these activities. So I feel like she's gotten great reception on these activities. With other students that I've worked with other middle school, like other students who are middle school majors from the College of Ed, and I've also worked with UTeach students who are secondary math and science teachers. I teach a core class, it's SEMS 250 Perspectives in Science and Math, and they have a project, like a final project, where they have to make something based on a historically based, like either science or math discovery. Some people do something like gravity or density, or within math there's a ton of things like division by zero, the Mayan calendar, like they're all like either cultural artifacts and things like that. And so I'm speaking at the UTeach conference, it's at University of Texas, Austin, this June with some students about their discovery activities. So they're all like model eliciting activities. In mathematics, they try to apply math to the real world and try to make mathematical representations of things that happen in the real world. So I have an activity with like quadratic equations, things that, like if you just flick, something, a projectile, it goes up and down, so you can describe that mathematically. So there are activities like that. One of the biggest successes that I've had is with a student with whom I published an article. It's a quartile 1 journal in visual and performing arts. It's called Journal of Math and the Arts. And what we did was it's about figure skating, and she had students draw their own choreography and find the length of the tracing. And figure skates are on a circle, like the blades are on a circle. So all of these drawings are like half circles or lines. So they would find the length of their own tracing, and so the students sort of like choreographed their own tracing, and they found using math like functions and like 2 pi r and like circumference and stuff like that, they were able to find the lengths. And then they also found like how much time would it take if you travel at a certain speed, etc. So we have some student work that actually Kristen helped with animations for that activity. And what I really love about the math department is that we have more than one math faculty who's interested in doing this thing. So we have actually a little group where we sort of, it's not like pass around students, but we like co-mentor students. And then sometimes like students will get to a certain point, and then I'll like, we'll like sort of mentor each other's students. So I think that has been super helpful for me, and I hope for my colleagues too, so that we can further develop all the activities that the students